You're listening to the Unnamed podcast, hosted by Midnight Lunatic. And here is Midnight Lunatic.
Hello, Midnight Crew, and welcome back. It's another week down, another week here. Oh yeah, and it was definitely a long one. It was actually my first full week back last week, and this week it's going. But yeah, we got some interesting topics to talk about today. Not a whole lot of action, but there's some interesting ones in here that I think you guys might find a little bit interesting too. So, without further ado, let's start this episode off right with Fact of the Week.
It's everybody's favorite time of the week. It's time for the fact of the week.
Fact of the week. Now, this is a weird one. This is a very strange one. I didn't even know this, and I'm a fan of them. Some penguins are prostitutes offering sex in exchange for pebbles. How about that? I'm a fan of penguins. All right, I love penguins. They're adorable. They look fluffy. I've personally have never seen one in real life before, and I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to just pet them and feed them. And just play with penguins. I think that'd be cool. But I've never actually had the opportunity to actually do that. So maybe, hopefully, in this lifetime, I will. Who knows? But penguins, yeah, they're prostitutes. That's crazy. I honestly did not know that, but it makes sense. I've seen documentaries about penguins and everything, and I see the way that they respond to certain things and the way that they do like their mating process and everything. So I get it. All right, I get it. Pebbles, I'm not sure what the pebbles, I guess that's their form of currency, I guess, pebbles. I'm not really too sure what you can do with the pebble, but I don't know. Well, I guess that's just currency for them. But anyways, enough of Fact of the Week. Let's get into some interesting news. Now, y'all ever heard of the San Andreas fault line, right? That's in California, right? Right? Well, the chance of a big San Andreas earthquake increased. It increased, guys. So there was a ridge crest earthquake that happened not too long ago. It was, I believe, sometime last year. Well, a new study suggests that there is an increase of the chance of a large earthquake, which is like very, very shocking, right? Because we've all heard about the San Andreas earthquake and how big and massive it's going to be, right? It's going to be like the earthquake of a lifetime. It's going to shake the entire world, right? Right? I mean, we've seen the movie about it, right? The one that Rock is in. Everyone saw that movie. I saw that movie. I thought it was crazy. I was like, man, this can actually like really happen, I mean, not exactly the way that happened in the movie, but like something like that, right? It could be a disaster. Well, from this new studies, there is now a 2.3% chance of an earthquake of a magnitude of 7.5 or greater in the next year. That's crazy. I mean, okay, think about it this way, guys. 2.3% is not a lot in your guys' mind, but it is a very, very high rise from last year's. So last year's percentage was 0.023%. Now it is at 2.3, right? That's a big jump. That is 100 times more likely for an earthquake of that size to hit within the next year. Like if 2020 wasn't already bad enough, imagine 2021, big earthquake, shakes the entire world. California falls off the face of the earth, right? Imagine that. Imagine 2 years in a row of like just devastation and tragedies. I can't even talk. Tragedies. Tragedies. Imagine the tragedies that could happen, right? In 2 years. I mean that's gonna be crazy if it's true. I'm hoping it's not. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't want this to happen. But man, I mean, with everything else going on in the world right now, I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? It might even happen tomorrow. I mean, fingers crossed, knock on some wood. I don't want it to happen, but I'm saying, like, it's a possibility. So the government officials in California should be prepared for the scenario in which an earthquake occurs that immediately rises the risk of a large quake. So they're wanting California government officials to have a strategic plan just in case something like this goes down. Because just think about it, guys. This takes up like half of California, right? It goes up and down like the entire state pretty much, right? If this thing goes off and it's a big one, I mean, you're going to see California literally break off from itself, from the rest of the United States, and pretty much just sink under the ocean. I mean, we've seen it in the movie too. I mean, you saw the whole city was like falling apart underwater. That can happen. I mean, it looks like just a movie, but things like that can happen if an earthquake like this comes. And what's crazy is, for those that live in LA, the San Andreas Fault comes within 35 miles of downtown. 35 miles. That means that you're pretty much dead if you live in Los Angeles if this earthquake hits, right? That you're immediately just done. Like there's nothing you can do about it. You can try and get your family and everyone out as soon as you can and evacuate, but like, I mean, chances are it's gonna probably change the way that you handle yourself. I'll guarantee that. I mean, 35 miles of downtown, that's gonna be a lot of people, and just a hypothetical magnitude of 7.8 quake of the San Andreas Fault could cause more than 1,800 deaths, injure 5,000 people, and displace around 500,000 to 1 million people from their homes if it happens. That's a 7.8. That's a hypothetical one. Now, what they're saying is a 7.5 or greater. So a 7.8 could happen, but a 7.5, I would say it would probably cause the same, if not even more damage than what they're calculating. I mean, that's a pretty big magnitude quake. Like, that is huge, massive. Like, I'm pretty sure if it was to happen, I would feel it over here in Arizona. Like, that's how big it would be. That's how much of a shake it would give. Like, it's one of the largest fault lines on the planet. It is the main tectonic plate boundary between the Pacific and the North American plates. It's the big one. It's pretty much what they're calling it. It's the big one. If it was to go down, it would be called the big one. It would be the one that pretty much changes Earth completely. Like, if Earth isn't already changed, that would do it without question. So I find that very interesting. All right, call me a nerd. All right, call me a nerd for it, but I find that really interesting. I just think about it. Think about it in your head. Picture in your head. Just close your eyes. Just close your eyes for a second. Right? Pretend you're enjoying your day. LA, watch. You're going to like a Suns game or like a Dodgers game somewhere. Disneyland, wherever. Right? You're just enjoying yourself. Then all of a sudden, you start feeling the earth beneath you move, right? You start seeing people freak out. You start seeing the buildings go side to side. You start seeing cracks on the wall, cracks on the ground, right? As you're walking, and you're trying to stay balanced, but you can't because it's rocking so vigorously that you can't really stay straight. You're kind of just having to move around with the earthquake. And then imagine just you seeing a ton of buildings just collapse from not having the right support for the earthquake, right? You start seeing major cracks in roads, and you start seeing cars and people just fall down, right? Let's say if you're in San Francisco with the Golden Gate Bridge, you start getting this earthquake, man, that bridge, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's gonna hold for a little bit, but man, I'm sure that thing is gonna go down quicker than anything else in that city. But man, I just imagine it. Just imagine. All right, just that's all I'm saying. Just imagine. All right. We'll move on. All right, enough imagining. We'll move on. So next one, masks are required. Hey, a lot of companies are now requiring masks. Walmart, yeah, everyone knows Walmart, right? And Sam's Club. Sam's Club is pretty much the bigger size Walmart, right? You want to buy in bulk, you go to Sam's Club, right? Wow. They are now requiring masks nationwide starting July 20th. Now, they said this 2 days after the Walmart CEO said that a mask mandate in stores nationwide was, and I quote, obviously something that's on our minds, quote. So, after 2 days of the CEO saying this, they put it in effect. They're not the only ones. Best Buy and Starbucks started requiring customers nationwide to wear masks last Wednesday. As of July 20th and July 22nd, BJ's Whole Foods Club, Kohl's, and Kroger are announcing new mask requirements also. They are going to start, Kohl's and BJ's are going to start July 20th, and Kroger will start July 22nd. So got a couple more days, about 1 or 2 more days before you start seeing those companies start requiring people to wear masks. And to be honest, guys, I think since everything reopened back up, since the whole beginning of things opening back up, why wasn't this already a requirement? Okay, we got a big pandemic going on, right? You got a virus, kills people, right? It's a serious thing. You start opening back up. Why the hell would you not enforce masks to be worn at places that a ton of people go in and out from? It made no sense to me, and I don't understand what took them so long to do this, but I am glad that they are starting to mandate these mask policies, right? It shouldn't even have had to be thought about. It should have just automatically been just done. It should have been a requirement since the beginning. But hey, what do I know, right? I'm just a consumer, right? I'm only here to spend some money at your store, not worry about my life, right? Hell no. I worry about my life more than I do you making my money or you making your money off me, right? All right. So, the National Retail Federation called on retailers to set nationwide mask policies and said, quote, the retailers of all sizes have been on the front line serving customers and supporting their communities. Not only are we seeing big name stores, but you're also seeing the National Retail Federation calling on other companies to start requiring masks. And I support this. I think it should be done. I think every single company that is open right now that has to deal with customers on a face-to-face basis, and even if it's just there's a glass between you, I don't care. If you're dealing with customers, I think a mask should be required right now. Not only for your protection, but for the others' protection also. I think nowadays wearing a mask around someone is like showing your signs of like a friendliness, right? It's like you're friendly greeting them with your mask, right? Like it's showing them that you're courteous to them, right? It's showing. I don't really know however else to explain it, but you get the point, right? It's kind of common courtesy now to wear a mask. So you got Walmart, Target, Best Buy, you got BJ's, Kohl's, Kroger. I mean, you got all these big name stores that are requiring masks, and I support this. I really do. I 100% believe this should have been a thing when all of this started, but hey, it happens. It happens. Other companies such as Uber and Costco have extended their mask requirements indefinitely throughout the U.S. as the coronavirus cases start rising more, right? So Uber and Costco both have been having their customers wear masks. I mean, I use Uber a lot, and I always wear my mask. If I go out somewhere, I wear it. Like I don't care if I'm walking to the store down the street. I don't care if I am going to work. I wear my mask. That's just what I do. And Uber has been saying to wear a mask. If you don't wear a mask, you don't ride. And believe me, one time I didn't know where my mask was. I had to go to work. I called my Uber. I got inside, had no mask because I misplaced it somewhere, right? The guy looks at me. He's like, "Where's your mask?" And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know where it is. Like, I misplaced it somewhere. And straight up, he was like, all right, stop the car. He was like, I can't give you a ride if you don't have a mask. And I was like, you serious? Like, it really? He was like, yeah, I'm sorry. You no mask, no ride. And I'm like, wow, okay. So I got out, went back inside, and that was it. I texted my boss. I was like, hey, I misplaced my mask. I can't get to work. He was like, no problem, I'll come get you. So my GM came get me. But the point is, Uber is very strict when it comes to their face masks. Now, you might get some of your drivers to be like, whatever, they don't got to wear a mask. But majority of them are now, I would say 95% of drivers now are requiring their riders to wear a mask, which I agree upon. I like it. I would do the same if I was a driver for Uber. Just saying. Costco, Uber, you got your stuff together since the beginning. For that, you get an applause. That's amazing. Good for you. Now, heading over to quick topics. Kanye West, we talked about him, right? He now announced that he is dropping out of the presidential campaign already. Well, it hasn't even been 2-3 weeks and he's already dropping out. I mean, he wasn't going to win either way because like I said, he was already too late. But I just think it's funny that all of a sudden he just drops out after announcing that he was running. Like, I knew it wasn't going to last. A lot of people knew it was going to last. I know. Did you know? I knew it was going to last. Also, the rapper known as Logic, if you guys heard of Logic before, I like his music. Anyways, he is announcing that he is retiring when his last album drops July 24th. So in a couple more days, right, he has a new album launching, and that is the last time that you'll ever hear a Logic album again. He is retiring to take care of his family, which is respectable. And it's funny because while I was doing research on this, I saw a lot of negative comments about this. They were like, why all of a sudden is he dropping out? What, he can't raise his family and do music at the same time? Look, guys, if you don't know how the music industry works, in order to make money nowadays, you have to do a lot of touring. If you don't do tours, you don't make money. Nowadays, music is free. All right. So in order for music companies and artists to make money, they do tours and they sell merchandise. And doing tours, you're spending a lot of time away from your family. You're making that sacrifice to go on tour for what, months at a time, 2-3 months, and leaving your family all that time, and then having to come back home and you're just completely exhausted afterwards, right? So don't give people stuff because they want to take care of their family. All right, it takes a lot out of a person doing tours for so long. It'll take a toll on your body. And I'm not saying that I even know everything about that lifestyle because I myself have never been on tour before. I am not a rapper. I don't plan to become one, nothing like that. But when you actually take a look into the music business, you look at the way things are and how music is nowadays, you would know that. You would know that most of money comes for tours and merchandise nowadays. And a lot of people don't want to sacrifice being away from their families for so long. And Logic is one of those people that would rather take care of his family than go on stage every night for months. So Logic, good job, man. Take care of your family. Do what you got to do. Daddy duties awaits you, my friend. And can't wait for your new album, man. Can't see what you got to bring. Well, speaking of rappers, Tory Lanez. Who's heard of Tory Lanez? Everyone knows who Tory Lanez is, right? If you're a mainstream music listener, you know Tory Lanez, right? If you're a fan of hip-hop and rap, you know Tory Lanez, right? Well, he was arrested after police found a concealed weapon in his vehicle. Now, not only that, but there are some people out there suggesting that Tory Lanez actually shot Megan Thee Stallion. Now, Megan Thee Stallion is another rapper. She's a female artist, right? And what's funny, what people believe this is because Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion were seen together last before she was shot, right? And then it just so happens that he gets arrested for a concealed weapon. So a lot of people are kind of just connecting the dots there. They haven't, confirmed anything just yet. No one's really saying anything. No one's really pointing fingers at no one. But people are starting to get convinced that Tory Lanez might have been the person, the shooter. So who knows? We might be seeing a little bit more this come next week. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. We'll see what this news has to bring us. But the final topic that I would like to talk to you guys about is a Lego version of the classic Nintendo Entertainment System console is coming soon. Now, this is a weird one. How are you going to make Legos into an actual running console? Because Legos is just blocks. So are they just like doing a shell of it in Legos and then have all the stuff inside? Or is it like just one of those displays where you're just like a toy figure on your dresser? Is it actually going to be playable, or is it going to be just another like souvenir Lego set? This one I'm not too sure of. We're going to have to wait for a little bit more information on this, but I just found that really cool. I mean, I'm a fan of Legos, and I certainly love my Nintendo systems, right? I used to play NES all the time. I still do on my Switch. And even Super Nintendo. I love Super Nintendo. Those two consoles had like the best games besides the 64. 64, best console of all time. I'll just say that right now. I don't care about PlayStation, Xbox. All right, the Nintendo 64, best console of all time. Might not have been the best selling. All right, PS2 got that. But as of fun and game wise, 64 is unbeatable. Like, there are just so many classic good games on there. It's kind of just hard playing anything else when you have a 64. Like, it's just I'm still waiting for a 64 emulator to come to the Switch. If it does, game over. Switch wins. All right, Switch will win greatest console ever. That's just my opinion. All right, you got your own opinion, PlayStation fans. I love you. I play PlayStation. I love PlayStation. Don't get me wrong. But if Switch was to bring 64 games, man, you won't see me on PlayStation for a while. Best believe that. I will be playing that all day. But hey, I guess we're gonna have to see what Lego does with this, and maybe I'll get one if the price is right. I mean, who knows? Now, lastly, the last and final topic for the evening, the main event. This one, man, when I first saw this one, I was like, what in the world? So, Uber. We've talked about Uber. They are now buying Postmates. Bam. There it is. If you don't know what Postmates is, it is a food delivery service, right? If you've heard of Uber, you know about Uber Eats. If you've heard about Uber Eats, you've probably heard of DoorDash. You hear DoorDash, you probably heard of Postmates, right? Well, Postmates is the service that I kind of use more, right? Like, I find to have more deals on there than like Uber Eats or DoorDash or Grubhub, whatever you want to use, right? I find Postmates to be more user friendly, and there's a lot more deals on there than anywhere else. Like, I'm not having to pay $30 for a burger and fry like I would on freaking like Uber Eats, right? So it was shocking to me that Uber is actually buying Postmates in a multi-billion-dollar deal. Now, they announced this last Monday, about 2 weeks ago, I believe. So about 2 Mondays ago, 3 Mondays, somewhere around that time, right? About two weeks from the time that you listen to this, they have plans of buying the food delivery service, since Postmates is in a deal worth of $2.65 billion in hopes to recover from the coronavirus losses. So during this whole pandemic thing, Uber wasn't doing so good. They were still making their money. Best believe they were making their money, because when things got shut down, there was only one way to go, right? Delivery. You don't want to go out. You don't want to risk getting sick. Delivery. So they were making their money. They were making their money for sure. All right. And Uber confirmed this themselves. They said that Uber Eats has become the primary money maker for Uber since March. So they even confirmed it. That's just crazy, right? I knew it was going to happen. I mean, you don't want to go out during this pandemic thing, right? And I myself, I used it a lot during these past couple months. I'm not going to lie. I used it pretty much every day. Me and my roommate both. We'd be like, hey, you hungry? You want something to eat? All right. What are we going to get? What are we going to order? And we'd order our food every day. I mean, we were living off of that unemployment. So, well, we were hungry. We wanted some food. We had, the little money that we had. So we used that. What's crazy, though, is Uber Eats and Postmates both combined, right? They represent 30% of the food delivery market shares, and they're not even the number one. They're not even the leader in the market, right? So get this. The current leader is DoorDash. DoorDash holds about 45%. 45% DoorDash. And I hate DoorDash. I can't stand DoorDash. But I guess DoorDash is the winner, man. I mean, there's just something about DoorDash that I just never liked. I liked Uber Eats, and then they started like getting more expensive. So I started using Postmates, and Postmates, man, they had the best deals. So it's crazy to me that DoorDash is number one. But yes, DoorDash is number one. The deal is set to close in the Q1 of 2021. So you still have the whole rest of the year to get your orders from Postmates, which I'm pretty sure I will in the near future. But in the beginning of the year, bye-bye Postmates, hello Uber Eats. And to be honest, guys, I'm not looking forward to this. Now, before we get out of here, guys, there is something I would like to talk to you guys about that some of you guys might not like to hear. And I hope you guys can appreciate my decisions on this. But I've been putting a lot of thought into this because of how stale the earth is right now with topics to talk about, because everything is so political, and I hate talking politics on this thing already. I'm sick of talking politics with you guys, because I got my certain beliefs and you guys might have your certain beliefs, and I don't want our two worlds to collide, right? So I'd rather stay away from the politics. And it just so happens that everything nowadays is so political that I would rather shy away from talking about it. And so because of that and the lack of topics, I am thinking about making my podcast bi-weekly instead of weekly. Now, I understand you guys look forward to my podcast every week, as I do. I love recording these podcasts every single week. Some days, I'm not going to lie, some days I'm like, do I really want to record an episode this week? But I still do it anyways because I truly enjoy it. So it kills me to even say this, right? To change my schedule to a bi-weekly instead of a weekly thing. But you start thinking like 2 weeks of information, right? I got 2 weeks to find topics to talk about. That means not only am I going to have more time to put together an episode and produce it better than what I've been doing, because I've been feeling rushed now that I'm back to work. Like this week has been really rushy for me, but I will maybe make longer podcasts because of the information that I find from those 2 weeks. So we might even get longer podcasts instead of like the 30-40 minute conversations we got now. You know what I'm saying? And in 2 weeks, I can find plans and things to do rather than having to rush things and not have really so much of a plan. As far as like bringing people in and trying to get like new ideas for the show and things like that. So I just think it's for my best interests right now and for your guys' best interests listening that we make the show bi-weekly. And I'm telling you guys, like, I'm not going to stop. Like, even if my work gets hectic, even if, like I have one day to do these things, like, I'm not going to stop doing this, man. I absolutely love doing these podcasts. And at this point, I don't even care if I have one person listening or 100 people listening. I choose to do this because I enjoy the hell out of it. Like, it takes a lot for someone to just come on the mic and just speak for 30-40 minutes. Like, it takes a lot for me personally because I don't like to talk. All right, that's just something I just never really been good at is talking. But for me to actually do this and do this every week, I mean, I've had a couple weeks here and there where I was off, but every week I come here and I do it. And man, I got to tell you, I love it. Like, I really do. And it not only expands my mind with the information that I find, but it helps me to be less uncomfortable to talk to other people in real life. Like, I will actually have topics and stuff to like discuss with other people, right? That don't listen to my show, but like I talk to them in real life. Like, let's say with my coworker, and let's say like I'm like, hey, Uber's buying Postmates? They're like, no, I didn't know that. And then I start talking about things, right? It's a conversation starter. So it not only helps me get rid of my fear of talking to people, but it helps me converse with people better. And that's what I like. And you can tell from if you listen to my very first podcast, you will see how nervous I am in my tones. You will hear it in like the next 3 episodes after that, like how nervous I was talking into the mic and how uncomfortable I felt, and you can hear it. And now I'm so confident in myself, and I'm confident in the way that I approach this podcast, and I want to continue just making it better. Like, I never actually feel good about the episodes. I always feel like I could do better. And so I push myself to be better. And it's making me a better person, honestly. Like, doing this podcast, you guys not might see what goes on outside of this podcast, for those that don't know me personally, or, don't know my life. But outside of this, like, I'm becoming a whole different person by breaking out of my shell, doing something that I was uncomfortable with, and just saying screw it and just do it. And man, that's something I can't give up. I gotta keep pushing through this, no matter how crazy it gets out there, no matter what's going on in my life. I want to keep doing this, and I want to continue to make this podcast grow and make it bigger and better, and give you guys just 110% of me every time I do this. So if you guys are going to be upset about me making the show bi-weekly, I'm sorry, but like I said, it is best if I was to make it bi-weekly. So starting from now, don't expect a podcast next week. It will be in the week after. Until we can start getting the world reopened again, all right, and until we start finding more things to talk about, then we'll go back to weekly. Until then, I feel like bi-weekly I will have more time to find information for you guys, more time to develop an interesting topic and interesting storyline for you guys, and it'll be better. It'll be better. I promise you guys, it's going to be better from this. All right. If it doesn't, I'm kicking my own self in the ass, right? I'm going to take it out on me. I'll hold myself accountable. But anyways, guys, that is going to be it for this week's episode. If you did like the episode, thank you. It's always a pleasure. I like entertaining you guys. And don't be shy. Don't be shy to talk to me. I got my Discord. You guys can join my Discord and talk to me on there. You got some mini games on there for you guys to play. Just pass some time. I mean, Discord, man. Join it. Link is everywhere. You can go on any of my social medias. You can go on anchor.fm. You can go on Spotify. Go onto my podcast. Bam, it's right there. It's everywhere for you guys. Everywhere. Go on my YouTube if you guys are listening to this on my YouTube. Right there in the description. Bam, click the link, join, have a conversation with me. I greet every single person that joins, and not only that, you get to see kind of like the behind the scenes and first looks at what I'll be talking about in podcast episodes. So if that's not cool enough, what else do I got to do for you guys? All right? I'm working on this. I'm starting from the bottom up. It's a lot of work. And I'm doing this all by myself, right? I got a couple of help, right? My friend Matt, we saw him a couple weeks ago for the PS5 chat. You remember that, right? We all had fun on that episode. Well, he's been my biggest supporter, man. He's helped me a lot. He's made my musical intros. He's made the fun fact of the week theme. I mean, he's helping me, man. He's helping me, and I truly appreciate you, Matt. I know you're listening right now, man. I truly appreciate you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the help that you've been doing, man. I know I'm not the best at, giving you that appreciation back, man, but just know I appreciate everything that you do for me, man. And if you guys don't know, Matt has a YouTube channel. He also has his own podcast. I'll link those in this episode. I'll put them in the description of this episode for you guys to click on and go share him some love. Go listen to his podcast and show him some appreciation on his episodes. He does beer reviews on his YouTube channel, and I find them entertaining. Like if you guys are a fan of beer and you guys are looking for beers to try, new beers and beers that you probably might have even heard of before, go check out his channel. He does reviews on them, and sometimes they're pretty funny. It's pretty funny, interesting. But anyways, guys, I'm out. Midnight Lunatic signing out for the week. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. I hope you guys stay safe. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.